Hi everybody, my name is Judy, and today I will be doing a short lesson talking about time using the word since and using the word for. Some students kind of get confused a little bit about when to use since and for and how to use them correctly. And hopefully by the end of this mini lesson you will feel better about using it and you'll be able to use it correctly to answer questions talking about time. Both since and for are used to answer time question. The question actually is how long, and they both answer the question but in two different ways. And both, it's important to note that since and for are they use the present perfect tense, such as I have been so-and-so, because they usually mean that something has started in the past and continues to be true until that day, until that moment. So why don't we start with since first? Since is used with the name of a time, and the name of a time basically means a general period. It doesn't tell you the duration. A name of a time could be Christmas, for example. It could be 9 a.m. It could be June. It is the name of a time. Whereas for is used with the length of a time, the duration or amount of time. For example, you can say for 3 days, for 10 minutes, for a week. And the greatest difference is that since emphasizes when something began, whereas for, it tells you exactly how long it's been going on. So a kind of interesting rule of thumb is that if you see something that doesn't exactly tell you how long something's been going on, it tells you when it began, then it usually began at that time that they mentioned it, so they're going to use since, and it continues to be true until when they asked you. Whereas for will tell you exactly right up front how long it's been going on. And so we have a little bit of practice that maybe we can do together. It says, the first one says blank childhood. And so childhood is also a name of a time because it doesn't tell you in months, weeks, years how long it's been going on. So if we think about it, childhood is not quite the same as 10 minutes, 3 days. It's not in years or months. So it's got to be since. So we can put since childhood. That emphasizes when it began, not so long as how long it's been. All right, number 2, it says blank years. That one's very specific and straightforward. We'll know right away it's been for because it tells you the length of time. So we can put for here. For 2 years. Number 3, it says blank 9 a.m. And that one might be a little bit tricky because although it has it's a specific time, it doesn't tell you the length of time. If somebody asked you something and it was 10 o'clock in the morning, they could say blank 9 a.m. But if they said 9 a.m., you would have to think, oh, it's 10 o'clock right now, so that's for 1 hour. This would be since 9 a.m. Something interesting is that since requires the listener to mentally count back and do a little bit of math to figure out when and how long something's been going on. So let's move over here. I'm going to use myself as an example. And we both know we all know that it's the year 2012. So I'm going to write that right there. So this question right here, I'm going to kind of go over how since and for can answer a question in 2 different ways, but it still gives you a clear answer. Let's see, the first question says, how long have you lived in Bellingham? And I've actually been living in Bellingham. I moved here in 2010. And since we know it's 2012, if we were to use since, how would we use since? Since is the name of a time, it'd be since 2010. And then for is the length of a time. So since it's 2012 right now, I moved here in 2010, that's been 2 years. So I've lived here for 2 years. There we go. And the second question, how long have you been in Washington? I have been in Washington for 8 years. And if I said for 8 years, I can write that down right now. And if you wanted to use since, how would we use since? We would have to mentally calculate 8 years ago, and right now it's 2012, that would be since 2004. Over time, it will become easier to kind of differentiate how to use since and for. But once again, for tells you the exact amount of time, whereas since gives you the time that it began. And so hopefully that has helped you a little bit to understand since and for and how to answer the question, how long. Thank you.